away.
At the designated service point with a 15-minute compulsory stop, Shamir Variawa was happy with his lot.
You know, we have certain sections where we can go fast, and the last section is a bit tight for us, so I think we're in a good position now to try and build up a lead in this first 20-30 kilometers. It's for our section, for our car basically, so we'll do that.
Over at the Nissan camp, Ralph Pitchford was a little surprised to be in the production vehicle lead.
Yeah, it's been pretty eventful. We've really been struggling in the dust. And then we unfortunately got past some cars, and then straight away we got a puncture, so we lost a couple of track positions. But we're back on pace and we're pushing really hard. But I'm quite surprised to see that we're so far up, because we haven't passed many cars along the way.
For Gary Berthold, the main aim was to get the Atlas Copco Toyota to the finish in one piece.
There is a high rate of attrition. There are a lot of rocks in the grass, a lot of stumps. The dust is quite bad. I think the guys have got flats and have been trying to overdrive it. And all we're trying to do is keep the team what they've given to me, a great opportunity to be in the front.
Also happy with his morning's work was George Barkhuizen.
Yeah, it's gone very well. We started off, I think, 7th in overall. Managed to climb a few places up. Then Duncan came past with a speed like hell. We sat in his dust for a while, then he pulled off. Then from there on it was a clean run, no real problems.
For championship leader Evan Hutchinson, it had been hard work and at times a little frustrating.
Yeah, a lot of hard work. It's just the dust is incredible. It's so dry out there. You just can't push, you know. You're sitting not even on the accelerator, just trying to wait for somewhere to try and push. So the small gaps that we have had, we've managed to pass most of the guys. I think we're second in class. I'm not too sure.
Getting to the finish was also top priority for Class E leader Leroy Poulter.
Car going very well. Yeah, just trying to keep it to the end, you know, and get there. Look, definitely dust is a big problem. But you know, it's in my favour now, so it's good.
Class D leader Cliff Weichelt was gearing himself up for a demanding second loop.
Yeah, I think now we've got to sort of try and get home now, so we won't push too hard, but we'll have to keep the pace up, otherwise we're going to get caught. Henry got past us, and then he got a puncture, so he's probably still coming.
Everywhere you looked in the pits there was activity, some of it frantic, as service crews carried out hasty repairs, refueled cars and readied their charges for the second loop of the race on what had turned into a warm winter's day.
The running order at the DSP had Foss Pitchford ahead of Berthold and Vermeulen and the Barkhuizens. The top 10 was made up exclusively of SP class entries.
On the special vehicle front, Variawa and Rousseau were first into the DSP ahead of Collier and Quinton Sewald and Hutchison and Bergman. Corbett and Goosen led Class B and De Toey and Pienaar Class B.
Championship leaders Duncan Foss and Rolf Pitchford overtook then race leaders Gary Berthold and Andre Vermeulen shortly before the DSP to snatch the production vehicle lead. All they now had to do was avoid mistakes in the Donaldson Nissan Navara, and a fourth win in 5 outings was almost in the bag. There was a dramatic twist in the special vehicle category when Cully and Quinton Sewald went into the lead when Shamir Variawa and Siegfried Rousseau picked up a puncture. Hot on their heels were Evan Hutchinson and Achim Bergman, who are now up to second in the Motorite Revo 1, with a first Sun City 400 victory beckoning.
A puncture shortly after the DSP delayed the Berthold Vermeulen Toyota, and the husband and wife team of George and Sharon Barkhuizen suddenly found themselves in second place among the production vehicles in the AIM Toyota Hilux. Behind the Barkhuizens, the unfortunate Shamir Variawa and Siegfried Rousseau were mobile once more and on a charge. The comings and goings in the production vehicle category had lifted Neil Woolridge and Kenny Scholthammer into third place in the production vehicles, with the pair having a clean run.
Nick and Ryan Harper were fourth among the specials and provided for a little excitement when they almost dropped in unexpectedly for tea with a couple of spectators.
The incident cost the Harpers a few seconds, but luckily no real harm done.
Also fully mobile again were Gary Bertholdt and Andre Vermeulen in the Atlas Copco Toyota Hilux. Their immediate target was to catch George and Sharon Barkhuizen, and chasing after the Toyota crew were Naeem Mossaji and Mohammed Wilston, who was still running strongly in the tyre rack Jimco.
It was turning into a difficult race for former SA champ Hannes Schobler and Johan Moore in the Donaldson Nissan Navara. They lost the GPS system early in the race, and a couple of flats didn't exactly help their cause.
Herman Sulwald and Son Bichard started the day 13th in the special vehicle category and 27th on the road. The Sulwalds racing Zarko pair had done a great job to work their way into a possible top 5 placing, and Terence Marsh and Peter Groenewald were in much the same boat in the Regent Racing Nissan Navara.
On the Ford front, Thomas Rondel and Stavros Giannakis had finally managed to get past the Unifreight Ford Ranger of Kobus van Tonde and Rian Guapa, and then pulled off the route with a problem that turned out to be terminal.
Yeah, we've had a turbo failure. It's a bit unfortunate, but anyway, that's part of racing.
The Van Tonde Guelpa car was running strongly, but Super Dad, Ernest Corbett and Warwick Goosen were battling with a misfire that was a worry for the Class P leaders.
Jan Kraai and Tiddo Vogt were in hot pursuit of the Corbett Goosen car, and for their part had Christian de Plooy and Henk Janse van Vieren right on their tail.
The Ferodo Nissan hardbody of Leroy Palter and Rob Howie was still in control of Class E, with Mike Whitehouse and Matthew Carlson, another crew, climbing up the leaderboard after starting the day 48th on the road in the Regent Racing Bat. Cliff Weichelt and Johan Smallberger were also in control of Class D in the N1 4x4 Toyota Hilux D4D, with Picky Labuskaghni and Rikus Erasmus enjoying another good run in the 4x4 Mega World Toyota Hilux. Although it had been a difficult day at the office, brothers Gary and David White were on track to pick up valuable Class P points in the Ruhr Combat. And Cape crew, Derek DeToy and Ian Pienaar, were on track for a second successive Class B win in the Orange Tree Bat.
While Free Staters Louw de Bruin and Rion Grelo were busy putting together their best race of the season, one of the moments of the day was provided by a spectator. The London Palladium is his next appearance.
Still pushing as hard as they could after their earlier role were Steve Beckett and Tim Curtis in the Century Racing Bat. It was a plucky performance from the pair, and elsewhere there was still plenty of close racing. Reigning Class E champion Jannie Visser and Joks Leroux and Don Thompson were looking to bag crucial championship points. And isn't it strange how river crossings are always a favourite vantage point for spectators?
There was also a good Class D contest going on with Gutsia Labuskaghni and Johan Gerber, Hani Strumpfer with Henry Hegu, and Devot van Radar with Johan de Toy, all within seconds of each other.
Absolute entertainment.
The Donaldson Nissan Navara of Duncan Foss and Rolf Pitchford was now in complete control of the production car category, and a regional championship backmarker was quick to get out of the way. Evan Hutchinson and Achim Bergman also had a fourth win in 5 outings in the bag in the Motorride Revo 1 4x4. Behind them, Shamir Variawa and Siegfried Rousseau had managed to get past Cully and Quinton Sulwald, but hopes of a second successive win disappeared with their post-DSP puncture. For their part, the Sulwalds would be delighted with their first podium of the season.
The Atlas Copco Toyota team of Gary Bertholdt and Andre Vermeulen regained second place among the production vehicles when the unfortunate Barkhuizens were hit by 2 late punctures. Nick and Ryan Harper were as steady as always in 4th place amongst the specials, and behind them Naeem Mossaji and Mohammed Molson maintained a 100% finish record this season.
Third place in the production vehicle category was a much-needed boost for Neil Woolridge and Kenny Schultheimer, and the factory Ford team with Herman and Wichard Sulwald were a solid 6th amongst the specials in the Sulwald Racing Zarco. There was also a boost for Terence Marsh and Peter Groenewald with their best finish of the season in the Regent Racing Nissan Navara.
Despite the engine misfire, Ernest Corbett and Warwick Goosen held on to win Class B in the Century Racing CR2, and there was another encouraging performance from Christian de Plooy and Henk Janssen van Vieren in a badly battered and bruised RFS Toyota Hilux. The late punctures dropped the unfortunate Parkhuisens down the pecking order, while Jan Kraai and Tero Vogt battled through the second loop without any breaks.
After blowing a motor on the Toyota 1000 Desert Race, Mike Whitehouse and Matthew Carlson borrowed an engine from Will Battershill and were rewarded with a top 10 finish after starting 48th on the road. Graham Leith and Mike Lawrenson scored their best result of the season in the X-Works Transcorp Ford Ranger, with Circuit Racing and kart star Leroy Poulter and Rob Howie picking up a maiden Class E victory in the Feroda Nissan Hardbody.
There was a second successive Class B win for Cape crew Derek de Toy and Ian Pienaar in the Orange Tree Bat, and perseverance paid off for David and Gary White, who scored valuable Class B points.
Louw de Bruin and Rian Greylen gave Rurikon Racing a boost with second place in Class E in the Ford Ranger. De Bruin and Greylen picked up a place when Pikkie Labuschagne and Rikus Erasmus were hit with punctures, but the 4x4 Mega World pair now lead the championship. There was late drama in Class D when Cliff Weichelt and Johan Smallberger broke down 20 kilometers from the finish, and Kutsia Labuschagne and Johan Gerber gratefully accepted a win. Behind them, the determined Steve Beckett and Tim Curtis saw out the distance to finish second in Class B.
Potchefstroom and Dewald van Berda and Johan de Toy also ended a lean spell with second in Class D in the Northam Toyota Hilux D4D. And Don Thompson, with stand-in navigator Halmar van Geslen, also salvaged Class B points.
When Duncan Foss and Rolf Pitchford crossed the finish line for the 4th win of the season, it also gave the Donaldson Nissan Navara team a clean sweep of 5 wins in 5 events so far this season. After a disappointing prologue, Foss and Pitchford again turned a disappointing Friday into a winning Saturday.
Taylor in the Toyota yesterday was unbelievably fast. We thought we'd had a good time trial, but obviously it was nowhere near the pace that we needed. So today, we were under a lot of pressure to do well, and we drove very quickly the first lap, taking a bit of chances. We had a puncture because probably we were trying a bit hard, but luckily we changed it quickly, and we had a great race.
Winning is a habit for Duncan Foss and Rolf Pitchford, but great results for Berthold and Vermeulen, as well as Woolridge and Schultheimer in the Ford, as well as Class E winners Poulter and Howie.
As was the case with Duncan Foss and Rolf Pitchford, it was win number 4 for Evan Hutchinson and Achim Bergman in the Motorride Revo 1 4x4 in the special vehicle category. It was also a Sun City 400 maiden win for the former South African champions, who have a tight grip on this year's title.
Yeah, 4 wins in 5 races. It was tough, we had a punch in the time trial which put us back into 23rd place, so we had sort of given up winning. Sun City's too tough to pass that many people. But we've had a good run today. The dust was really difficult to fight our way through the dust. We got up into 3rd position, and we were chasing Suvald, hoping that we could try and make 2nd place before we came home. And we came around the corner, and as fate would have it, Shamir was sitting on the side of the road with a puncture, which is what happened to us at the desert at the last race. So we were lucky, that's why we're in the front. We managed to get past Suvald, which put us into the lead, and we just looked after that lead, brought it home.
A second successive win and a second Sun City 400 win in a row proved to be out of reach for Variawa and Rousseau. The Sulwalds will be happy with 3rd, and Corbett and Goosen over the moon with a Class B victory.
For the Atlas Copco Toyota Hilux team, 2nd place for Gary Berthold and Andre Vermeulen was just reward for a mountain of hard work.
We managed to get it together and get to the front, and unfortunately, like I think so many other guys, we got a flat at an inconspicuous time, and just after Duncan was getting in his car, we had the flat in the same place, and it was quite ironic. They managed to pull away from us. We dropped down to 4th and thought, well, it's going to be a tough fight back, but we fought back.
The Driver of the Race award went to Super Dad Ernest Corbett in the Century Racing CR2.
Part of the reason why we did so well is we had a misfire for 1.5 circuits, so it made it easier for me to drive, because this thing's got so much power, I can't normally handle it, to be honest. So it was perfect for me.
And for Leroy Poulter, a maiden national championship win.
We've had the pace all along, and we've both been working together, and I must say it's all come right on the perfect day. The goal was perfect, everything. We never really made a mistake. Rob was excellent, and I can't complain.
For Louis Weichelt, the race was a baptism of fire.
So I started right at the back, so it was a good challenge. Broke my windscreen, and from there it just went wrong by not seeing. I was hitting rocks and hitting ditches which I couldn't see, and yeah, but at least I'm here.
Off-roaders are also a tough breed.
It was freezing cold today. I didn't wear a rain suit, so I think that's it's a wake-up call every time you go through water. And then I think the small cars, they can handle the tight stuff quite well, so it was a good race for us. We enjoyed it.
The race also produced another plunky performance from the Makanete brothers in Class B.
Yeah, I think we are 3rd in Class B, provisional, which was our target at the beginning of the race. So we've achieved it. First lap was not so good because of the poor prologue. But then second lap we ran really well. Enjoyed it.
Duncan Foss and Rolf Pitchford have a huge lead in the Production Vehicle Championship. Creeping into the top 10 among the Class SP hordes are Class E Championship leaders Picky Labuschagne and Rikus Erasmus.
There is also a healthy Special Vehicle Championship lead for Evan Hutchison and Achim Bergman. Also in the top 10 are the Besaidnout brothers who lead Class B, and Class B leaders Derek de Tooy and Ian Pinard.
The next event on the ABSA Off-Road Championship calendar is the Highveld 400 at Carnival City on August 28 and 29.
Don't miss all the action right here on Supersport.